Hi everyone. I tried to do this video a few moments ago, and since I have to do my nail stuff outside, when I came out here, a fight broke out next door and cops were called, and it's calmed down quite a bit. The cops are still over there, but it's calmed down quite a bit, so hopefully you won't hear what's going on in the background. And if it does start to get a little noisy again, I'll just shut the video off and pick up once it's all done and over with. But anyway, this video is a little how-to, step-by-step, from start to finish. I have a subscriber. Her name, her YouTube name is Akim Cole. Akimcole. She has been asking some questions, and I thought that it would be much easier for me to just go ahead and do a step-by-step, start-to-finish nail for her, to show her, because she is new. She's new to doing her own nails, and she has a lot of questions. We all did when we first started out, and just like her, you know, I turned to YouTube. I watched a lot of videos, and slowly and surely I started teaching myself how to do it. So hopefully this helps you, okay? And like I said in the emails that I sent to you, if you have any questions after this video is done, you know, feel free, ask, okay? And anybody else out there who's watching this video, if you have questions, simply ask, okay? I am always willing to help anybody and everybody the best that I can, okay? And, you know, this isn't the right way. This isn't the correct way. This isn't the way that it's done by the books. This is my way, okay? First and foremost, my way, okay? This is what I have found that works for me. So with that said, for the nail bed, okay, this isn't going to be a traditional nail, okay? This is just to show, you know, step by step how I do my things, okay? And also answering a few questions for other YouTubers as well. But for the nail bed, I'm going to mix a chalk mix, okay? Hang on one moment. Okay, sorry about that. A fire truck and an ambulance showed up next door, and I didn't want you guys to hear any of that. They're still over there, so you could probably hear the motors running, but there's no talking, none of that going on. So once again, sorry for the interruption. It's been a crazy night. Anyway, back to what I was doing. I'm going to make a pink chalk bed, okay? And it's very simple. The way that I do my chalk, I am going to mix in a 1/4 teaspoon of the chalk, okay, with the same amount of clear acrylic, okay, so just a 1/4 teaspoon of the clear acrylic, okay. And then I just take my cuticle pusher and just stir it up really good, okay. And one of the things that I like about my little doodad that I have to powderize my chalk is it doesn't leave chunks in the chalk. I have tried many ways to do my chalk, and 90% of the time there's always little chunks and little bits that I can never get broken down. And this little thingy that I use now, I never have to worry about that. So there's the chalk mix, okay? And once again, it was just a 50-50 mix, okay? So if you put in a 1/2 teaspoon of the chalk, put in 1/2 teaspoon of the clear acrylic, okay? So that's what I'm going to use for the bed, okay? Set that off to the side. And now for the glitter mix that I'm going to put on the tip, okay? One of the questions that I get a lot is when I sell my mixes on eBay. Thank you, baby. Abigail just brought me something to drink. when I sell my mixes on eBay, I sell it by a half teaspoon. And usually when you mix half a teaspoon of the mix with half a teaspoon of the clear acrylic, it gives you a full teaspoon to use. I understand that, you know, everybody has their own way of applying the mix, you know, and it also depends on the length of the nail and everything like that as well. But usually when I do my nails and my mixes, a teaspoon total mix with the glitter and the acrylic, I can usually get roughly 3 sets of tips out of it. Okay, so for beginners who are just learning how to do this, who are still learning how to do the correct ratio to get the correct thickness, you know, and stuff like that, a half teaspoon of the glitter mix mixed with a half teaspoon of acrylic, you should be able to get at least 1 complete set and still have some left over. You know, I don't know, depending on how thick you make it, you may not be able to get 2 complete sets, but you definitely would be able to get at least 1 complete set with some left over. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to make a half teaspoon of mix, and then I'm going to mix it with a half teaspoon of clear acrylic, so that way you guys can see just how much it is. Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon. Yeah, I'm using the extra fine frost because Akim Cole said that her favorite color was blue, and I also told her that I would send her a sample of the mix, and this is the sample that I'm going to send you. Okay, so this is a 1/4 teaspoon of the extra fine glitter mix. Okay, and then I'm going to mix that with 1/8 of a teaspoon of, it's just purple tinsel. Okay, this is not the original container, that's why I'm not going to try to show you the container. It's just, I needed storage, so I put it in here. Okay, so that was 1/8 of a teaspoon of the tinsel, and I'm going to mix that with some of the diamond shaped glitter, and I'm going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon. You know what, I might not even do that. I'll do like I'll do half of it with those, and then fill the rest up with the extra fine glitter, if it'll come out. Okay, so right there, fire truck just left. Anyway, so right there is a well, it's just over half of a teaspoon of mix. So I'm going to mix this up. Okay, really good.
Yeah, I got it for you.
Okay, so there's the glitter mix itself. Okay, and then I'm just going to add in half of a teaspoon of clear acrylic. And I forgot to bring out my half teaspoon, so I'm just going to use 2 of the 1/4. Okay, for a 50-50 mix. Okay, and then just stir that up, mix it up nice and pretty. Okay, and yes, I turn my jars as I'm stirring, that way I know that it's getting all mixed up. Okay, so there's that. So now I have the mix for the tip and the mix for the bed. Okay, alright, now what I do is I always do the nail bed first. Okay, that was the other stuff. Okay, I normally use Omega liquid monomer. Okay, I prefer to use that because it works so much easier when I do my nails and when I do practice fingers. Sometimes I will use the cheaper stuff that you get off of eBay when I'm doing practicing stuff, okay? And I really don't know if I'm going to like how it turns out or whatnot, because, you know, I really don't want to use the good stuff when I'm just goofing, okay? And when I do the wheels for, like, my glitter swap, okay, this is a sample view. I'll be doing a reveal video soon. But when I put the acrylic on these for, like, the glitter swaps, I use the cheaper stuff, okay, because this is just putting it on a wheel. All right. The reason for it is the cheaper stuff, it is much more difficult to work with, and I found that I really don't prefer to work with it. Let me just grab another Dap & Dish. Okay, because the Dap & Dish still has that cheaper monomer in it that I was going to use. Okay, but anyway, so this is another Dap & Dish, and like I said, the Omega is what I'm going to use because I want this to flow nicely. Okay, so I'm just put some in there. Okay, let me get these out of the way. All right. And it also helps if you have a good brush. Okay, I got this one off of eBay, and it's the type where it comes apart so that you can stick it in, you know, and store it. I found that I actually like this brush. It's a number 8, okay, and I absolutely love this brush. I found that it works very well, very easy to keep the bristles clean, and it goes back to a point when you're done cleaning it, okay. So I found that I actually like this one. But the brush also makes a difference in how it performs, how it comes out, okay. So the first thing that you want to do, you also mentioned in some of the emails, is that you have a problem with lifting, mainly because it gets on your skin, okay. If you're having an issue where you're finding that it's difficult for you to keep it off your skin, okay, the easiest thing that I can recommend is taking like a cuticle pusher that has like a tip on it, or, you know, something like this that has a tip. And when you're putting it on, if it gets on your skin, just take the cuticle pusher and clear it off your skin. Just follow your cuticle, okay, and scrape that off, okay, before it dries. That way it's off and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we'll begin, and I normally do the bed first. I find it much easier for me to get a better smile line that way. So we'll go ahead and start with that. You also said that yours was a little runny. I'm trying to remember all of the things that you mentioned to me. But I just dip the brush in, get all the air bubbles out of it, you know, swirl it around a little bit. And then wipe it on the side of your dish. Okay. By wiping it on the side of your dish, it takes a lot of the liquid out of the bristles so that your mix isn't runny when you go to put it on. Okay. And then you just pick it up. You know, I probably should have done this on the video. I'll do the next one. And you just place it. I usually start right in the center, and then I fan it out. Wow, this is much more pink than I thought it would be. So let me move this into view so that way you can see what I'm talking about. You just dip it in. You don't stick the whole brush in, you just stick the tip in. Okay, you get a bead, you place it on, and then you just move it where you want it to go. Okay, and I like to do like a patting motion rather than like a pushing or a pulling, because I find that patting it makes it a little bit more smooth. Okay, you don't get as many bumps. And then once I get that part done, I usually come in and create my smile line that I like, okay, which gives me a base smile line. And then I fill in the rest. Same thing. Pick up, put it down, pat it where you want it to go. Okay. And I think everybody's leaving from next door. Okay. Which is wonderful. And if you do get it some on, if you have a good brush, you can always clean it up with the brush, like that. Okay. And just wipe it off with the brush. Okay. And then make sure that it's not too thick in the back, because if it's too thick in the back, it can also create lifting. Okay. Yes, there's a lot of steps in doing your nails to make them look beautiful, but the end product is worth it. Just cleaning it up there. Okay. So now that I've got my bed, I just want to make sure that it's not too thick. I need to add a little bit more because it's not quite thick enough. And this definitely takes practice, okay? The more that you practice, the better that you'll get, okay? It's not something that you're going to learn overnight or anything like that. So don't expect to... Oop, my phone is going off. So don't expect to be a pro overnight, because if you expect to be a pro overnight, then you're just going to let yourself down. Okay. So yeah. Once you get it where you like it, okay, now it's time to move on to the glitter tip itself. Okay. So once again, you just dip the brush in. Since I'm using the chalk, I'm just going to make sure that there's nothing left in the chalk or in the brush. Okay. So dip the brush in, pick up some of the glitter mix. Oop, see? And like I said in some of my emails, sometimes I even make mistakes. And then you just put it on. Okay. And then you just push it where you want it. And like I said, I always use like a tapping motion. I don't just force it. I tap it where I want it to go. Okay. And if you find that it's too wet, okay, like you said in your videos, just make sure that you try to rub some of it off. And then if it's too dry, like mine is right now, just dip your brush back into the monomer, okay, and then go back to working with it, okay. But then you just fill it in, and you tap it where you want it to go. Make sure that it's, you know, the way that you want it. I need a little bit more for the tip. Now the glitter part you really don't want too thick, because you still have to cover it with the clear acrylic. Okay, and another one of your questions that you asked is if you could put the clear or the glitter mix on top of your current acrylics. Personally speaking, I would say that would probably make it a little too thick. Okay. So personally speaking, I would not recommend that. I would definitely, you know, say put it on before you add the clear top, because you know that's probably going to be too much for what I need. If so, I could just wipe it off. But yeah, I would not recommend putting it over top of the acrylic that you currently have. Okay. And then just make sure that you keep shaping it, okay? And like I said, you don't want it too thick, because you still have to put the clear acrylic on. And just to show you what I mean by that is, if you can see the tip, okay, it's really not that thick for the acrylic, for the glitter, okay? If you make it too thick, then you have a lot of filing that you have to do to clean it up. Okay, so I strongly, you know, it takes practice. It definitely takes practice to get it where you want it. Okay, So now that that's done, I'm going to set this off to the side. Okay, and then you're going to come in with the clear acrylic to cover it. Okay. And I just use the Easy Flow clear is what I use for that. Okay, and it's also what I use to do all my mixes with. I found that I really like to use the Easy Flow for those. Okay, so unfortunately this container is too big for me to keep it in view, so it's going to have to sit off to the side. But you come in with the clear, same thing, just a small ball, and I always put it right in the center of the glitter mix. Okay, and then I push it to cover all of the glitter, because I want to cover the glitter before I really go through and start brushing it on, because I don't want the glitter to mix with the bed. Okay, so I put a very thin coat of the clear over all of the glitter. Okay, and then once I have that on, I take another ball and I put it right in the center where the two meet. This will seal the two up. Pat it from side to side to make sure it fills in between the two. Okay. I take another ball, place it a little bit further down, press it to cover over all of the color, or all of the nail bed, and then quick brushes to the front. Okay. Once I've done that, I look at the nail to make sure that there's a higher part here in the center. That's your stress point. Make sure that it's not too thick back here on the back of the nail bed and not too thick in the front. Sometimes when you're looking at it, you do need to add a little bit more to the tip. Okay, and then you just place it right in the center of the tip, press it over the tip, and then fan it back. This way it's not too thick, but it covers the tip. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, you just need to look at it, make sure that you don't have any high spots, any low spots. Okay, and if you're satisfied with it, then you just wait for it to dry so that you can shape and buff it. So while this is drying, okay, it's going to take a little bit longer because it started raining again. I'm really sick of the rain. So it's going to take a little bit longer for this to set and dry, so I'm just going to stop the video for now. Once it's dry, I'll come back and I'll show you the shaping and the filing of it. Okay, so I'll be right back.